Hey, Venture community. My name is Eliza Silky. I'm a professional counselor, and I will be talking with you a little bit over the next few weeks about how to take care of our mind and our emotions during this crazy season that we are all in together. I first want to just explain a little bit about two potential ditches that I think we can all fall into. One ditch is getting really consumed and absorbed with all of the intense emotions that are going on at this point. A lot of us are feeling a lot of fear, anxiety, worry. A lot of us are feeling disappointment, and we're maybe grieving some things. And then there's also a lot of anger and frustration about the current situation. And all of those emotions are normal and make sense. But if we get completely absorbed and wrapped up in them, we can get kind of stuck in that ditch. Another ditch that we can fall into is kind of a ditch where we would deny those emotions. We would try to avoid them, maybe stuff them, push them down because they feel like a little bit much to deal with. Some of the ways that we tend to do that would be some things that maybe are really comforting, like maybe comfort eating, maybe using substances, maybe zoning out and getting really engrossed in video games or media that just allows us to kind of zone out and tune out. And neither of those extremes are healthy. And so what I'd like us to think about is, how could we find kind of a healthy middle ground? If we're in the ditch of kind of zoning out, avoiding, stuffing the emotions, how could we provide ourselves some space to acknowledge those emotions and to validate those emotions, and to just have a little bit of time for ourselves to be present with those emotions and to feel them? And then if we're falling into the ditch of just being completely absorbed by the emotions, how can we validate that it makes sense that we feel that way and figure out ways to cope with it? Figure out ways to use our time intentionally. Figure out how we're going to grow during this challenging time. Figure out some healthy coping mechanisms for ourselves to be able to thrive during a very challenging season. And so I encourage you to take a moment to consider, what ditch do I lean toward, and how could I just move myself a little bit more toward a healthy middle ground? What would that look like for me? Do I need a little bit more space to validate and process my emotions? Do I need to focus a little bit more on some growth and coping and using my time intentionally during this challenging season? And whatever you come up with, try and just pave that middle path for yourself.